Hello, Anashe. Today I would like to show you the magical stuff that I have collected free of charge in my trip to Greece. As you see, I have plenty of treasures here. Allow me to start with the most significant ones. Do you see those two pendants here? Those cowrie shells pendants? Well, the shells themselves were collected on the sacred isle of Delos, and Delos is a very special island because this is the birthplace of Artemis and Apollo. This is where Leto, their mother, and Zeus, their father, allowed to conceive them, and this is where they were born. So this place became a very important place in ancient Greek mythology, and it also became the main place of worship of those two deities. Anyway, as we went there, we went on a tour group, and I looked on the ground and I found two cowrie shells. And it's very difficult to find cowrie shells in the Mediterranean. So I thought this would be perfect for me and my partner to make a Delos Island, amulet, a Delenian amulet. I also have a Delenian one, but we will continue about this later. Anyway, cowrie shells were currency in the ancient world, and they were symbols of many gods and goddesses and powers. So, when I picked them up, it was like a really special gift. Anyway, Delos is also like full of mica, this shiny crystal, okay, that has a lot of usages. So what I did basically is I made talismans that would allow us to connect to the power of Delos every time we choose. Basically what I did was I took some polymer clay and I embedded in it some shards of this crystal, which is basically the earth of the island, and also was used in ancient time to crush into fine powder and used as something that women would dye their eyes with. But those crystals, they saw it all. They saw all the ancient times. They were created millions of years ago beneath the earth. So they saw all the worship and they got all that energy. So in each of these talismans, there is like a little shards of those crystals embedded in them. And then after I used the polymer clay to shape and mold around them into the shape of an amulet, this one is mine, a talisman, this is mine for instance, polymer clay, a little hole to be rung around the right neck, and it says, I know you can't see it very well, Delos and the date in which we were in, so I would remember where this came from, what this is for, okay? Anyway, I made one for me and one for my friend, which is an Hellenic priestess and would love to connect with the energies of Delos whenever she wanted. It would be basically like living on Delos, which was forbidden in ancient times and also it's quite forbidden today. So there are temples to many gods on Delos. Artemis, Apollo, of course, also Leto and Zeus, but also Demeter, and even a temple of Isis and temples for Baal and other Canaanite gods and goddesses that basically were imported there because it became a major place for commerce. So, this is also a very good thing that a merchant could wear because it helps you keep your money. And if the energy of Delos that is very attractive to people until today is available, you can use it for many, many purposes, of course. So after I shaped it and baked it, I passed it through smoke to Papa Legba and I asked him to open the roads. I know this is Vudunsi, but I'm a Vudunsi person doing something like this. But if you want to go pure Hellenic, you could ask Mercury or Hermes to do this for you, to connect to the forces of that land, okay? And I anointed it with a special oil just for him. And then I also anointed it with special frankincense oil, and I gave a little grain of frankincense to all the spirits of that island that I knew, and I passed those through the smoke. So this is basically, I reinvigorated the forces of Delos, not just in those amulets, but because there is a rapport established between me and Delos. Basically, I'm carrying a little bit of Delos with me, and I also managed to give offerings to the spirits of Delos in Delos while not being in Delos. So this is a very cheap, powerful idea for all of you that really likes, to make stuff, and also to those who really like to carry places with them. I can see people doing stuff like that, from things that they got in Stonehenge and other sacred places and sites that you can't constantly be in. Okay, so let me show you some other sacred stuff that I received. In Delos, Hecate gave me this. This is my Delian wand. It's made from a sacred wood, and it was towards the direction of her sacred isle that I don't remember his name, near Delos. Okay, look, it fits right in my hand and looks kind of scary. And I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm just going to use it like this. It's a great channeler of energy. It's driftwood, so it has the energy of both fire, water. It's very hard. It's very sturdy, and I feel very much connected with this. It's a wonderful gift of Hecate. Okay. Also, I picked up some. You see the shine. This is a mica. A mica, a cluster from Delos. I got some more of those to be used and to be given as a gift. This little fish bone I got in Mykonos. The moment we got off Mykonos, this is the first thing that I found, so I took it with me. I don't know what I would use it for, but maybe for some water elemental work. Okay, now I also got some snail shells that are good for sex, but also are a good protective item. And from Delos, I picked up some shells. Those are especially special. Those are very special shells because the blood of those mussels would use to create the color purple in ancient time. And I don't know if those specifically were used in Delos or were just, imported during ancient times. So I found two, and I found this other shell that I don't know what I'm going to use it for. But basically, those are the Delosian things. Also, this one and other stones, okay? Now, I've been to the Parthenon in the Acropolis, and there I've gotten some cypress that grows in the center of the Acropolis and some sacred olives from the tree of Athena growing next to the Parthenon. Because, the legend of the Acropolis is that Athena had a contest with Poseidon, god of the sea, to see who wins and who gets to have the Parthenon biggest temple named by their name. And Poseidon created wonderful water fountains and other things. And Athena merely made an olive tree grow near the Parthenon, and hence it became, basically one of her greatest gifts of humanity. So the Parthenon was named after her name, and also it was given to this is how Athens became Athens after her name, okay? Now, those shards of pottery I found in several places in Greece. Those three specifically I found in Delos. This is like a handle of a jar. Maybe it was an authority thing. Just picked them up. Nobody cared. Okay? You have to understand that in places like Delos and even in Israel, you could find many ancient pottery shards that doesn't have any distinct markings. Even one obviously was painted at some point. And nobody cares if you take them because they would not consist of anything whole. Now those two, this shard was found next to the temple of Artemis, and this little stone was taken from the shrine of Artemis in the Acropolis. And those I'm keeping for a friend that asked me to bring something Artemisy for her. Now this special shard came from the Greek Agora, and it was found next to the Hephaestus temple, the god of crafts and arts and volcanoes. And I think it was the most impressive temple that I have seen in my life, really. It was very impressive, very well preserved, very good for the people who created it back then. This is also flowers of some trees growing in Volos. Volos is a very sacred place because it was sacred to the centaur Chiron that taught both Jason and Heracles their craft and archering. And I have other gifts. For instance, I have feathers. For instance, this is a feather of a seagull from Volos, and I see it as a gift from Amphitrite and Neptune. This is a crow feather that I see as a gift from It was a sacred bird for Apollo, and those doves are as a gift from dove feathers are a gift from Aphrodite because they are their sacred birds. I didn't take anything from a living bird. I just found them in my path and took them with me. So those are my treasures, and obviously they cost me nothing. And constructing those talismans cost me nearly nothing. I didn't even use a whole package of polymer clay, but they could be very powerful and very useful for the witch that wields them if they know to respect the spirits of Delos or any other sacred place. This is a good idea for you crafty witches. You could use them. You could use you don't have to use the cowrie shells. You just use the natural things you find in an area and use your inspiration and create your own connection amulets. So, my dear friend who went to the trip with me, I have a gift for you and I think you would like this one. Okay, goodbye Nashe, and thank you for watching.